I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited to be making a new YouTube video, and I'm excited about the topic that I'm here to talk about. So, peaceful greetings, guys. My name is Tanika. Welcome back to the Subconscious Express YouTube channel. On this channel, I film holistic health and lifestyle content. If you're interested, subscribe and stay tuned for this video. So in today's video, I just want to talk about seed saving because it's something that I started recently and it done put me through some things. Little backstory, on my Instagram, I shared with all my followers there that I started seed saving about 4 weeks ago. Since December started and we're pretty much at the end of December, I started to save seeds because I became aware of just how valuable seeds are. Seeds are a commodity, okay? Seeds are just as valuable as money is, because with a single seed, a good quality seed, you can grow a plant that bears fruit and produces more seeds for you, and so you will always have something of value, right? And that is extremely important, and that is what I want to highlight in this video because we are in some interesting times today. So in this video, what I'm going to do is talk about the importance of seed saving, some things that I learned from my seed saving experience because my seeds actually went bad, and I'll tell that story in the video. I'm gonna tell y'all what I learned, and then you could do your research, and then we could talk about what we think later. You feel me? Follow my Instagram. Reply to my stories. Tell me what you think. All right? So, seed saving. So like I said, I started seed saving about 3 to 4 weeks ago because I learned just how important saving seeds are. Where did this come from? The GMOs are on the rise. So GMOs are genetically modified organisms. They come from capitalism. And I'm gonna tell you that. Scientists are patenting what was already created. You know, a natural seed can't be patented by a human being because seeds and plants and fruits and all that were here before we even got here, right? So in order for a scientist or a capitalist to say, hey, this is mine, they have to interfere with the genetic code and modify it in some type of way so that it becomes this person's seed. The crop produced from the genetically modified seeds are causing a lot of problems in India for Indian farmers. Indian farmers are committing suicide at rates that are unimaginable, right? And I think that this is something that anybody who watches this video should look into for themselves because it's really disheartening. You know, they're on another continent, in another country, but these are our family still. The genetically modified seeds that come from these capitalists, they produce one generation of crop, but they are sterile, so that crop cannot produce more crop. In order for you to have crop to grow, you have to go back and buy more. That don't make no sense to me. And not only do you have to continuously buy seeds to produce crop, but it is said that these genetically modified seeds require a lot more water than the indigenous and natural seeds or plants that are grown from the earth. You feel me? They take a lot more water and they yield a lot less crop. So that's already problematic within itself because we are already having a water crisis globally where the amount of usable fresh water is just at a limited supply. And this is requiring even more of that fresh water supply. 2. The next point is these genetically modified seeds, they don't have the same nutrient integrity. They don't have the same nutrient density, and they actually take a lot of nutrients from the soil. They require a lot of synthetic chemicals that we should not be consuming, and it's not easy to clean them things off of the food. The best way to make sure your food is safe is to just consume organic food, right? And that's why it's important to seed save, because when you have things like seed banks and seed libraries in your community, then you know for a fact what's going on, because these are things that you contribute to and you keep running and that you can actually get involved with to see how these things run. It's really important that we're eating healthy, high vibrational food. And these genetically modified foods, they start below the mark before they even came out the gate. They was behind before they came out the gate. You feel me? So in America, Over 90% of the crop diversity that we once had no longer exists. A lot of indigenous plants and crops have gone extinct. And that is problematic because if there is no soil diversity, then it will be easy for the soil to be further damaged and eroded. If there is diversity, then maybe one strain of the bacteria within the soil would be targeted by a certain pest or a certain insect or a certain fungus or virus. The other existing bacteria in the soil will be able to maintain its integrity and eventually fight it off, right? So it's really, really, really important that we maintain soil diversity. But in America, the GMO market is majority of our market. I believe it's over 90% of our market, and they're buying up a lot. They're trying to buy up as many seed industries as possible to create a monopoly. Another reason why soil diversity is really important is that rich soil absorbs a lot of carbon from the atmosphere. And if you understand what's going on with climate change, then you know we're having a carbon abundance in our atmosphere. And nutrient-dense soil will help to absorb some of that. You have good soil, you have good life. Everything that we rely on to live comes from good soil. The minerals that we take to form our products and the natural resources that we create everything we use from, they come from the soil pretty much. And this can be done through seed saving, because when you are growing a certain crop, they absorb certain nutrients from the soil, but then they also return certain nutrients back to the soil. And that's another reason why it's really important to compost. Let's talk about Monsanto. Monsanto is a major player in this whole GMO world, in this whole pesticide world, in this Roundup world, in this whole
climate crisis, because they are wilding right now.
Since the rise of these genetically modified foods that are supposed to be insect resistant and pest resistant, they've required additional use of more of these insecticides and pesticides and all the sides that we shouldn't be consuming. And these have sent up the rates of autism, and they've proven to be carcinogenic. There have been so many lawsuits against Monsanto. We won't know it's a Monsanto brand because it doesn't say Monsanto. It'll say Kellogg's or General Mills or something like that, you know? And those are just some products that are associated with Monsanto that if we could use our dollars to do anything, we could stop using it to support these big companies because they don't care about us. And so we got to stop keeping them rich because they rich. And we trying to figure it out still. Back to seed saving. So those are some of the reasons why I started to save seeds, because it's really important. There's never going to be a time in life where we don't need food. With the rise of this planetary consciousness where everybody's realizing that, our health is in our hands and that we need to be a lot more healthy, natural food is going to be on demand. And so if you cannot produce your own food, you are going to be asked out, because then you're still going to have to rely on people who do not have your best interest at heart. We see what's going on with this whole state of the world right now. We know what's going on in terms of current events and with this whole thingamajig. I'm not finna say no keywords to get my video triggered. That's a dub. But we see what's going on. They don't care about us. And so it's really important that we try to take our health into our hands and that we try to take our environment back into our hands, because it is ours. It is equally ours as much as it is the people who are telling us what we can and cannot do. They are human just like us, and that's just that on period. Seed saving is really important because it allows us to control what we eat, and then we can trade amongst each others and develop a local economy where we can shut capitalists out. Okay, period. So I started saving seeds about 4 weeks ago, and it was going good. I had some soursop. In Jamaica, we call this sweet sop, but I know in different countries they call it different names, but I'll post pictures of it. So I had some soursop seeds, I had some sweet sop seeds, I had some grapefruit seeds, I had some orange seeds, I had some lime seeds, and I recently had started adding watermelon. And I think the watermelon was the problem, but let me tell you the events. Let me tell you what happened. You feel me? So it was going well for about 3 weeks. Everything fine. My seeds is collected. Every day I'm shaking the jar, because I'm hella excited about it and I'm really proud about it. And I started it with it was an intentional mission for me to start saving those seeds. And so I would regularly check up on them, etc., right? My mom had guests over. So in the AM, I like to eat citrus fruits because, you know, they're rich in enzymes, vitamin C, and they help to aid your body's elimination processes. So I'm eating my oranges, you feel me? Spitting my seeds out, putting them out on the table because I let them dry out before I add them to the jar. And they start complaining, like, where you going with all these seeds? We can't plant all these seeds. And I'm like, the intention is not for me to plant all these seeds, but you know, I'm making sure that I save them because there will be a time where somebody will need to plant these seeds and these will benefit somebody. And like, they didn't see the value in it because a lot of people are not aware of what's going on. And so if you're watching this video and you are here right now, shout outs to you, because by learning this video, you're going to become more curious and you're going to try to find out more information about what's going on in the world, and then you're going to be able to make a difference. You're going to be able to do something about it, right? So they don't know what's going on. And I was like, I'm not gonna have this conversation with y'all because y'all already on some, this is pointless, what are you doing? They be on some, you on some, back to Africa, African princess, bop, bop, bop. And it's not really a compliment. Like, it's not at all a compliment. Unless it comes from like actual Rastafarian people in the Rastafarian community who see themselves as African, like without the,
I know I'm African, but I'm not African because Africans are different than I am.
So like for me, it's like an underhanded situation, but I'm not offended by being referred to as an African woman because look at me. So I'm like, yo, I'm not even finna get into it with people. I like to give my energy where the energy can be received, and where I feel like my energy will be met with resistance, I'm not putting it there because I'm not here for that. You feel me? So I'm like, whatever. 2 days later, within the 48 hours, it could have happened the next day, could have happened the day after. I think it might have happened the next day, but just so I'm not stretching it, 2 days later, let's give it 2 days. I'll go look at my jar and all of my seeds are coated with like white film. And then there's a little bit of like blue mold. And I'm just like, how did this happen so progressively? Like, you know, it's not even like one seed, or like literally it was all over the jar within the course of 2 days. And what I'm telling y'all is frequently I shake the jar and I look at the seeds. Like I look to make sure there's no moisture in the jar, and I check up on my seeds. They my kids for as far as I'm concerned. They're mine and I love them, and like we had a relationship. And so when I seen that, I didn't know what to do. And like, I don't want to be saving and passing on seeds that are not good. So I just threw them out. And on to the next topic. So I spoke about why seed saving is important. I gave y'all my little story about seed saving. Oh, so I started saving seeds again. And here are some seed saving tips. So I think that maybe one of the watermelon seeds that I added happened to still have like some watermelon flesh on it. And while I tried to, you know, like suck the meat off the seeds before I spit it out, you know, sometimes we just don't think we're gonna do things perfect, you know. Sometimes it just ain't perfect. So I think maybe some moisture was in there somehow, or some of that flesh was like decomposing somehow in the jar. That's like my only explanation, other than what I've been saying. That's my scientific explanation, but then there's the energetic explanation. They projected bad vibes on my seeds. They was hating on my seeds, and my seed knew it. My seeds knew it. And so that's what happened. That's what happened. And some tips I have for saving seeds, because I'm doing them totally different now, is I actually made this envelope and I've labeled it watermelon seeds with the date where I started, but it actually now has orange seeds and watermelon seeds. I didn't separate them because it's not a lot of seeds in there, but when the time comes, I will add the orange seeds to their own little packet. I have chosen to store it this way because for now, being that it's not a lot, I think putting them in paper will help to absorb any possible moisture going forward. I do store the little envelope in a dark space. They're in my cabinet, and hopefully it is cooler than the rest of the house. But some tips for seed saving is you want to keep it out of bright light. You want to keep it out of the light. If you can store it in a dark place, that is perfect, because what light can do is break down the enzymes on the outside of the seeds, which are meant to protect it. And over time, no matter how you preserve it, the more you save a seed, the more you risk it losing its integrity. So you want to keep it out of the light so it doesn't age it. You want to make sure that it is dry. You don't want what happened to my seeds to happen to your seeds. So make sure that it is dry. You don't want it to possibly germinate before you need it to. So you want to make sure that it is dry. And if you can put it in a cool place, a cool temperature helps, you know, cold stuff. We put things in the fridge for a reason. We put things in the freezer for a reason. They help to preserve things, and it slows down the cellular activity. So what you want to do is keep those seeds in a cool, dark, and dry place. And if you can make it airtight, that will also be wonderful, just so that it isn't oxidizing. And those are the tips that I have for seed saving. I think that is all I want to share with you guys right now. So below, I will also link the articles that I read on Monsanto, as well as the articles about what's going on in India. They also have a really powerful seed, I don't know if it's a seed bank or seed library, and there's a difference between the two, which is why I'm going to share that video with you guys. India is making a lot of moves towards evolutionizing how we are doing agriculture. So definitely tune into that. Thank you for watching this video. If you like it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel to grow. Comment below and let me know what you think happened to my seeds, because that really hurt. I'm not gonna lie, because I was really coming a long way and I had to throw everything away and basically start over. And like, I didn't like that. But subscribe for more content from Subconscious Express. Peace, y'all.
See, I'm zoned in. Once I manifest it, I'm gon' own it. My hood show me love, yeah, I feel like the locust. The scent in my nose is a remnants of roses. You get banished around here if you're opposing. This all runs deep, yeah, it cuts with a bonus. Them